What is up, guys? Just chilling. Chilling at work before I have to go in. Um, this is probably going to be kind of a update video of what's going on with my life. Um, doesn't mean I'm going to not be podcasting, but my life has been turned upside down about 3 or 4 days ago. Um, and I'll get into it on how and why. Um, there's a company called Beryl Creek who just bought us out. And I was already expecting for the rent to go up. We were paying, and I don't care to share this with you all because it doesn't matter anyways. I'm moving back in with my mother-in-law. We were paying $550 a month here in Kentucky in a small town. And I don't care to share it either because we're moving. But we were paying $550 a month in Harrodsburg, which is like this small town. It's basically known for the first settlement, I think first settlement in Kentucky, from a dude named James Herod. Sorry. That whole story is pretty cool. Like last year, we went to a play about James Herod and stuff, and it was supposed to be like historically accurate and all that. It was actually pretty neat to learn about it. But anyways, so we got bought out by this company called like Beryl Creek Investments or something like that. They're out of Lexington, which is like the next biggest town over. It's like our closest biggest town is Lexington, and then the next one up from that that's bigger than Lexington would be Louisville. But so basically they're from Lexington, so they're expecting Lexington income from the citizens of Harrodsburg. And they did this to the next neighboring town called Danville. There's a YouTube videos and everything, dude. This shit's blowing up on the internet. This company is like crooked as fuck. They bought like these Danville apartments and vacated this family and gave them like 7 days to get out and shit. Just evil shit. So they bought our apartment complex and raised it from $550 to $950 a month. So I'm sitting here in a box, or in a car full of boxes. I got to move out in 30 days, man. So we got a storage unit today. I'm going to move back in with my mother-in-law, which is fine because that means that we're not going to be paying full rent. We're going to be, because she already owns her trailer. And we're going to be paying half the bills. So it should be, honestly, we'll be able to stack chips. So it could be a blessing in disguise, you know, until we can find something. But, so that's what's going on in my life, dude. I got 30 days to pack my shit and get it the fuck out. And working a full-time job. It sucks so much dick. It sucks so much dick. So yeah, I'm if I podcast, it's gonna be from out of my car like this on stuff that I want to talk about. And it sucks too, because like I just started getting back into podcasting, and I was still in the process of downloading all my podcasts from YouTube so I could upload it to Rumble. I got all these plans and they're all getting halted. again. I feel like every time I start getting into podcasting, like, shit starts hitting the fan. And my wife, man, I told her I was super nervous about that eclipse because I'm part Native American. We got 2 tribes, you know, supposedly, Blackfoot and Kiowa. And I told her, sorry, checking time, the eclipse is not like a good thing. Usually bad luck follows. And I remember the last eclipse, what was it, 2017? My life kind of fell apart right after the eclipse. I ended up getting evicted. And by the way, I'm not, as someone who is a friend of Bill, I'm not sitting here saying that it wasn't my fault at all. But I do think that God gives warnings of like, hey, shit's gonna get weird. But I ended up getting evicted. Ended up going to jail a couple times. Ended up in and out of mental institutions. Living with my mother-in-law. Again, for some reason, after every eclipse, I always end up living with my mother-in-law, which is strange. So I knew shit was coming, and I told my wife, I said, watch. And I was nervous, and she's like, I don't know if I believe that. And I said, just watch. I said, shit's gonna get weird after this eclipse. And it did. We got bought out. We're getting evicted now because we can't afford $950 a month. And I'm having to move back in with my mother-in-law. Which we had to move out before because me and my mother-in-law, and my wife is right about this as much as I hate to say it, we're too much alike. But we have totally different religious views, totally different political views, and we butt heads. And the thing is I'm a very pacifist person, but I'm passive aggressive. So I let someone poke me and poke me and poke me until I snap, which is not good. That is not healthy. After years of therapy and at least learning something from therapy, your aim is to be assertive. And that's hard for me to do. I took the test and shit, and they told me basically, oh, you're passive aggressive, you know, meaning you sit there and you get poked and poked and poked and you bottle it all up, and then one day you just snap. And it was some weird argument about something. I don't even remember what it was about. It was just, she was just in a foul fucking mood, man. And she literally started putting her finger in my face and stuff. And I just snapped, and I think I said something like, you keep putting that finger in my face, I'm gonna bite it off. And then I don't remember what happened, but I said, pack your shit. I told my wife, I looked over, I said, pack your shit, we're getting the fuck out of here. And then we left, and my phone was dying, and I was in a Walmart parking lot, and I was like, fuck, I don't know what to do, because we were so broke and shit. Like, when I'm talking broke, I am talking broke. Like, we had nothing. And I didn't have money to get a phone charger, and I left my phone charger there. So I went back to go get my phone charger. And me and her got into it at the door, and she was crying and shit. And I told her, I said, I just want to grab my phone charger, that's it. And I was going to walk in, and she slammed my foot in the door. So then I said, okay, that's fine. I'm going to call the cops on you for assault. So I didn't tell my wife, but I told her, I didn't tell my wife that I didn't call the cops. I'm no snitch, man. I've been locked up 3 times. I'm not a fucking snitch. And I wouldn't sit there and lock up my mother-in-law for slamming my foot in the door. But I did want to make her sweat. So I told my wife, I said, I'm back at Walmart. I called the cops. They're on the way over to your mom's for assault. You know, they got a warrant for her arrest. And my wife starts freaking out. Why'd you do that? And I explained to her, your mom slammed my foot in the door. And, yeah, so I made her mom sweat for a while. The whole night. She's a real paranoid person, too. So the whole night she was, like, looking out the window. And then the next day I was like, yeah, I never called the cops and shit, you know. I just wanted to make her sweat. Because you shouldn't be slamming someone's foot in the door. She knew I wasn't going to hurt her, you know. And I've explained to people, man, I don't strike first, you know. Unless, like, someone hits me. And even then, like, you're a woman. You're an old woman. I'm not going to, like, smack you down, you know. I might push you away. If you're physically assaulting me, I'm going to push you away, and then I'm going to let you hit me so many times, and then I'm going to be like, look, stop, or else I'm going to have to restrain you or something. And with an older lady, like, I don't want to restrain you because I might hurt you, you know. But I don't put my hands on people until they're, like, literally beating the shit out of me. Then it's like, okay, like, enough is enough. I got to do something. So I hope none of that shit happens again. Because honestly, I have certain morals and I have certain beliefs, and I don't go around like preaching like, these are my morals, this is my political affiliation, this is what I am. You know, I'm not like someone who's trying to convert someone to my way of life. But I'm also not ashamed of who I am and my belief system, you know. That's one thing I've always been very open about on this channel, was like my belief systems, you know. I've told people I'm pro-abortion. I'm pro-suicide. I think people should have the rights to exit this world if they want. I don't think the government should be allowed to step in and tell you you cannot exit, you know. But I mean, I also have very conservative beliefs. I'm pro-Constitution, pro-Second Amendment, pro-First Amendment, freedom of religion, separation of church and state. Like, that's one thing that I'm huge on. I'm against Christian nationalism. I'm against Zionism. And that's with a wife who's Hebrew, you know. And even she's against Zionism. Like, I'm pro-Palestine. I'm not pro-Hamas. But I do think that the genocide of the Palestinians is pretty fucked up, what's going on right now. Yeah, I'm a classic liberal. And I am not a Christian, so I watch Christian channels, and I go through comment sections, and I talk to Christians, and I believe, hey, if that's what gets you through the day, that's cool. It doesn't work for me. It's not my spiritual path. I can take values and lessons from the Bible and apply it to my life. That's what I like about being an occultist. If I was to convert someone to what I am, if you want to ask me what religion am I And people are going to hate this, but I'll tell you. I learned it from Aleister Crowley. He was an occultist, and what he did was essentially created his own religion, Thelema, which I'm not a Thelemite, so if you were going to ask me if I'm a Thelemite, there's your answer. I'm not a Thelemite. But being an occultist is basically you study occultism, and you can practice occultism. You don't have to. There's no rules of being an occultist that you have to do ceremonial magic or shamanism or anything like that. I practice different things. But being an occultist is essentially you take what you want out of any religion out there or any spiritual path and you apply it to your own life. So you belong to no religion, but at the same time, you're almost Unitarian to where you belong to every religion. Whatever religions you're interested in. But it's the study of, it's your personal spiritual path. It's very open-ended. So there's occultists, people think occultism is evil, and it's like, well, it can be evil if your path is evil. If you're taking a left-hand path, if you want to worship Moloch, and sacrifice chickens in your backyard and kidnap children and sacrifice children, that's up to you. That is your will. Do what thou wilt. Me personally, I'm against all that. And I think that you're making occultists look bad when you do that type of behavior. It makes the rest of us look bad, but yeah, my path, the things that I'm interested in is like ancient astronaut theory, witchcraft, like true ceremonial magic, not Wicca. To me, that's like Harry Potter shit. I'm interested in like spiritualism, mystery schools. I would love to join mystery schools. I'm into recovery. There's a lot of occultism in AA, and a lot of people don't know that. I delve a little bit into like Eastern stuff. I need to get more into it, but I'm very interested in reincarnation, Gnosticism, yeah, I love ceremonial magic. I wish that I could just be a full-time magician like Aleister Crowley, but my parents didn't own a brewery, so and they didn't leave me a fortune when they died, so that was the only reason he could live like that and devote his life to magic and shit. But yeah, and people don't like that. My mother-in-law is a very old school Christian conservative, and that's it. And we butt heads on that a lot because she tries to tell me that the sexual practices between me and my wife are evil because we participate in sodomy. She tries to just control me. She's told me, well, you're a Christian, you know the Bible, you've read it 6 times, and you practice Christianity in your life. Why won't you convert to Christianity? And it's like, because I believe in Gnosticism. I don't believe that is the true creator of all. Yahweh, to me, is Saturn, aka the Demiurge, aka Yahdavewath, aka, I think in some instances, Baal, and I don't want to worship a insane, in my opinion, evil deity who is controlling this realm. And you can call it a fallen angel, you can call it an archon, you can call it whatever you want. I think Yahweh is a lesser deity. When I read the Old Testament, I'm like, this is not a God of love. This is not something that I want to worship, you know. And honestly, man, I've been studying the Septuagint. I don't know if I really want to truly follow Christ, man. Some of his teachings are beautiful and amazing, but when you start getting into the Septuagint, like the Septuagint and the Apocrypha, which is like, you start looking into his childhood and shit, like he was like a little demon when he was a kid, like a little Damien. Like I think he murdered another child, like crazy shit. He was not a good a child, which I do try to be like, okay, that was when he was a kid, he was different when he was an adult. But then you start reading the Septuagint, the Greek translation and stuff, and there's weird stories in the Bible where he started practicing like Greek mystery schools. Like there's some weird scenes about like chomo type stuff with Jesus and like child mutilation and stuff. My family thinks I'm crazy, did a podcast on it. Check it out, because it was blowing my mind. And it, after hearing this like Greek scholar who's like super studied on the Septuagint, he was getting into what it says about Jesus. I was like, I don't know if I can truly say that I want to follow this dude, you know. Dark shit. Which Jesus is an ascended master, in my opinion, and he did follow a lot of mystery schools and took the archetype of Horus and stuff, Mithras, Bacchus, Dionysus. Yeshua ben Joseph became an archetype. Just like Owen Dantwin, King Arthur. Which I've talked about a lot of this shit. And I think most of my regulars on this channel are up to date. If you're not, you're probably like, what the fuck is this dude talking about? Talking some crazy shit, man. It's like, yeah, I go deep, homeboy. In the words of Sam Tripoli, we go deep, homeboy. I got a little bit of time before work. I wish I could play music that, what's that song? What's his name? Billy Joel or something? I'm moving out. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Moving out. I'm moving out. If you guys know the name of that song and who wrote it or whatever, play it, or not play it, but put it in the comments, because I'm gonna listen to it on break. I wish, that's another thing too, interact with me in the comments, because I'm not tech savvy, man. My wife does all the tech shit. She's teaching me slowly. We got a new laptop, so like my last podcast that I put out, she had to like help me learn how to do it. But she was also learning, because it's like a new podcast program. And I wish though that I could figure out, like, I don't even know if you can. This is like it's a decent phone. It's like $100-something phone that I'm on right now. And I'm wondering, I want to learn how to like screen share. So like right there, I could have played that song and we could have just listened to that song together, you know, because it's a funny song. But I have a bunch of plans for the podcast. I'm going to do an episode on my favorite podcasts that I listen to, because if you're listening to this podcast, I'm assuming that you like podcasts. So I would like to do an episode on my favorite podcast. and what I listen to and shit you guys might like, which I'm not going to upload this till tomorrow because I tried uploading it during a work shift one time and it killed my fucking battery and it didn't even upload. It was frustrating. So I'm just going to do it at home with my internet, while I'm sleeping. So yeah, that's my life right now. It's fucking hectic. It fucking blows. It sucks, man. I don't know if any of you guys are going through the same shit. But this company, just type in Beryl Creek Real Estate or Beryl Creek Investments on YouTube. There's several videos already. The news, WKYT, came to our apartment complex and spoke to a bunch of the tenants, man. Somebody who lives on the corner apartment next to us called the news, and the news popped up, and my wife is actually in the background, so you could see her. If you're a follower of the channel, if you can find the video, it'd probably be on WKYT, like the main website, or she's in the background though. She stayed up late that night when it was supposed to come on to see herself, She didn't want to talk though. But she's in the background, so. And they show my apartment. They wrote an article on the actual website. I read the article and they took a picture literally of my apartment. They used my apartment as like the main cover story picture, But I think we're going to wrap this up. We're at 27 minutes. I'm going to just put this out as a full podcast episode. Thanks for tuning in. That's an update on what's going on with my life and where I'm going. So if you don't hear from me for a little bit, it's because my life is super hectic right now. And I'm moving. I'm working a full-time job and moving. So it's a little crazy right now. Like I said, I'm an occultist, so if you guys want to pray for me, pray for me. I will take anything. If you want to meditate for me, send some vibes. If you want to cast a spell for me, not against me, I don't like that shit. But yeah, this is an open-ended invitation to pray for me, dude. We need it, man. My wife, she's stressed out and crying like every day, just aggravated every day. I mean, I know my wife. She's my best friend. You can see it in their face, and she is not hiding it. She's expressing that she's just mentally angry, sad, going through all the emotions of it's almost like a death card, like a tarot death card. One death phase of one life, and then a transition into a new. And she's stressed. And I get it. I help her as much as I can, but I work third shift, so I have to sleep during the day. Like, I have to get my sleep, otherwise I'll be calling out at work. And I've already pissed off my job enough this year. That's a whole nother subject I won't get into because that's a whole nother podcast episode. But yeah, I'm not asking for money. I'm not asking for anything like that, just because we're good financially, knock on wood. Just prayers. If you want to cast a spell in my direction and help me out. If you want to say a little prayer, if you want to meditate, whatever. We will take anything. Reiki, we'll take some Reiki. But that's it. That's an update on what's going on, and hopefully you hear from me again soon. If not, I'm busy with life. Love y'all. Y'all have a good day. May the road rise to meet your feet.